Star Trek Picard Season 2 is about to get underway with filming, but that still gives us plenty of time to build a wish list of characters we want to see return in the upcoming second season. So let's make it so. Hey everyone, my name's Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. This week we're talking about Star Trek Picard Season 2, specifically the characters we want to see return in the upcoming second season. With filming about to get underway with many cast members like Michelle Hurd and Jerry Ryan returning and getting on set to film, it's a perfect time to discuss who we'd like to see return alongside our brand new motley crew of adventurers. The first season of Star Trek Picard shows a universe 20 years removed from the prime timeline's last movie, Star Trek Nemesis. In the 2 decades since that film, Jean-Luc Picard has traded in his Starfleet uniform for a new outfit that looks only somewhat like a Starfleet uniform. He's left behind the reliability and efficiency of a Starfleet crew, and traded in for a motley crew of misfit toys as they warp around the galaxy on daring adventures. Season 1 was packed full of brand new entries to this Star Trek universe like characters like Rios, Raffi, and many others. Who else is going to be joining Jean-Luc on this brand new adventure? Before we jump into that, if you are new around here and this is your first time visiting the Trek Central YouTube channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from myself and the rest of the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow our social media for the latest news updates and visit our website with reviews, dedicated articles, and a lot more. Okay, let's make it so. Season 1 did a fine job of warming an audience up to Picard's new crew of characters, and they accomplished it, at least in part, by linking it to the past for appearances from old familiar faces and subtle nods to the past. An audience that grew up on The Next Generation was happy to follow Picard, Rios, Raffi, and the rest, but also best served catching up for a while of Data, 7 of 9, Hugh, Riker, and of course, Troy. In at number 5 on our first on list we have Geordi LeForge. Brought to life by actor and renowned reading enthusiast LeVar Burton, Geordi LeForge began his time on the Enterprise as a quiet and reserved red-shirted helmsman, and ended as one of the top engineering minds in Star Trek history. The man can just do about anything when it comes to technology, and he doesn't need to pad out his estimates to look like he's some sort of miracle worker, kinda like some other famous engineer we know. Adding flame to the rumours that he would be showing up in Picard's second season, Burton himself has all but officially confirmed his appearance, telling Entertainment Weekly that he expects all of the former Next Gen cast to show up at some point, although probably not at the same time. When asked about his appearance specifically, Burton answered, "How do I answer this without getting myself in trouble? I think it's reasonable to think that those people are still a part of Picard's life. Sure, what the hell, absolutely." Now in canon, the last the audience has heard about him was in that 2381, the now promoted Commander LeForge was serving as head and leader of Utopia Planitia Shipyard's effort to create a fleet of starships, vessels meant to carry out Picard's plan to evacuate Romulan territory. He was still in that position in 2385, when Utopia Planitia was attacked by the Romulans using Mars' own synths to do the damage. We know that he survived the attack for a couple of reasons. First, because he was mentioned by name when Zhavan suggested that he be added to Picard's crew in Maps and Legends. Second, the novel, The Last Best Hope, shows that Geordi had been off station to attend First Contact Day celebrations at the time of the attack, returning to find his colleagues and friends dead. As we leave him, he is wrecked with survivor's guilt after the attack. What he's been doing in the last 15 years between the Mars attack and the beginning of Star Trek Picard is completely up in the air, but if there's a technological hurdle that needs jumping, they could do worse than bringing Geordi back to overcome it. In at number 4, Guinan. When Sir Patrick Stewart invites someone to return in Star Trek Picard Season 2 on television, you can bet you're going to see that character show up, since that's exactly what Sir Patrick did when he visited The View, a show co-hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. Odds are very high that we're going to see the Elorian character back on screen in 2399. Guinan and Picard have a relationship that spans from their first meeting on the 20th century Earth, for at least to Riker and Troy's wedding in 2379. Both characters have, at different times, made references to their relationship being something more than friends or family. Guinan has counselled Picard in situations where lives have been at risk. She, or part of her, helped Picard free himself from the Nexus in Star Trek Generations. The question of Guinan is less will we see her as when we'll see her, and for how long. The surprise will be where and when she appears, no doubt, to impact some great piece of wisdom and advice at a critical moment. In at number 3, an odd choice, Gran Negus Rom. Ferengi fell short of their original purpose to serve as a main antagonist species in The Next Generation, for whatever reason. The threat of the Ferengi and their pool noodle electric whips just didn't rise to the scale of an Alpha Quadrant threat of, to say, the Klingons in the original series or what the Borg became in The Next Generation. That's probably for the best. If they had planned out as a species to be feared, it's unlikely we'd have gotten something of the comic relief lovable rascal Ferengi that we ended up getting to know in Deep Space Nine. Quark was undoubtedly the head of Ferengi. His name is in the credits on Deep Space Nine, see? That's him right there. At the same time though, actor Max Gronchik was quietly winning over the DS9 audience as Quark's brother, Rom. His character evolved over the years of the show, but it was this eventful cheery demeanour and aw-shucks attitude that helped the character change. He went from being a loyal toady working under his brother at the bar, to being quite an accomplished engineer and war hero, to being Grand Nagus of the entire Ferengi Alliance. From a little we get to see of the new Nagus in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Rom seems to continue on Grand Nagus Zek's previous steps of enacting positive change and progressive change within Ferengi society. Whether that's going to continue in the Star Trek universe remains to be seen. It would be a nice callback to Trek fans if Picard's new season saw La Sirena and her crew travelling to Ferenginar to show fans what's become of the Ferengi Alliance under the kind-hearted Nagus' leadership. While it would be difficult to picture a place for Rom as a new member of the crew or as anything but a single episode appearance, it would be nice to see the guy again. Coming in at number 2, Dr. Beverly Crusher. When we first met Dr. Beverly Crusher in Season 1 of The Next Generation, her role on the show seemed threefold. 1. Chief Medical Officer, 2. A reason for Wesley Crusher to exist, and 3. Picard's love interest. All in all, a pretty important character in the show's ensemble. By the time all was said and done up to Nemesis, Dr. Crusher had distinguished herself as a Galaxy-class doctor at Starfleet Medical and as Chief Medical Officer of 2 ships named Enterprise. Her son had grown up to join Starfleet, leave Starfleet to become a quasi-mystical being, and then return to Starfleet. Not too shabby, I'd say. Finally though, her relationship with Picard was kind of a swing and miss. Early seasons of The Next Generation hinted at a possible romance, but the matter was more or less dropped until Season 7. Also share feelings and thoughts in the 7th season episode Attached, both admit to having feelings for one another, only to have the whole matter dropped again a whooping 6 episodes later, when Beverly accidentally got involved with a space Scottish candle ghost, and Picard went on to develop a relationship with the leader of the Baku in Star Trek Insurrection. While we don't know a whole lot right now about what Dr. Beverly has been up to in the years between Nemesis and Star Trek Picard, a deleted scene from Nemesis suggests that Crusher left Enterprise after his encounter with a scimitar to re-establish her duties as the head of Starfleet Medical. In canon, we know very little about what else Beverly Crusher has been up to between Nemesis and the turn of the 25th century. What we do know is that an alternate timeline created in All Good Things showed a divorced Captain Beverly Picard running her own medical starship. Since there's been no mention or even a subtle wink of the idea that Picard and the Good Doctor had been married in Season 1, we can probably assume that it hasn't happened in the Picard timeline, aka the Prime timeline. Everything else, though, is on the table. It could be some kind of romantic entanglement that brings Dr. Crusher back to television, or it could be that La Sirena loses its emergency medical hologram at an inopportune moment, and finds itself in need of medical services not performed by the ship's resident cybernetics and de facto non-holographic medic for some reason, Agnes Jurati. In any way of looking at it, Beverly Crusher would make a welcome addition to the crew of La Sirena, even for a little while. It's worth noting too that many Star Trek fans haven't exactly been silent on the idea of Dr. Crusher returning to be with Jean-Luc Picard. The famous hashtag #PicardNeedsBev was trending on Twitter during many episodes of Star Trek Picard last year, so certainly the need for her to return is there and the love of the fans is definitely there as well. The question does remain, will we see Dr. Beverly Crusher anytime soon in the future of Star Trek, and of course, Star Trek Picard. Finally, in at number 1, Q. Today, we've seen John Delancey's omnipotent and infinitely puckish character Q appear across 4 different Star Trek shows. The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and 2020 newcomer, Lower Decks. Let's face it, though, Q's single appearance on Deep Space Nine is remembered primarily for the setup line, "He hit me. Picard never hit me." His appearances on Voyager confine themselves to courtroom proceedings, the pitching of Crew Woo the monkey shines of a young Q, and Q's perplexing endeavours as a father. That leaves us with Lower Decks and his all-too-brief cameo in the episode Veritas. While he's appeared in a total of 5 episodes of Star Trek not called Next Generation, one could say, and I will too, that the best Q is a Q that's playing opposite to his ultimate foil, Jean-Luc Picard. The 2 characters, whose relationship are a delightful mirror of one another's personalities. Picard, all restraint and discipline, guided by a sharp moral compass. Q, as an omnipotent being, not only lacks a sense of restraint, but indeed any restraint at all. Whereas Picard is disciplined, Q is chaotic. Where Picard is moral, Q often acts without any thought to consequence or morality at all, and seems bored when ultimately forced to do the right thing. All the while, each is trying to teach each other a lesson. Picard endlessly trying to impart the ideals of humanity, while Q creates elaborate contrivances designed to teach Picard to lighten up a bit, except when he's telling him that things are serious. Like, on one hand, he turned Picard's crew into Robin Hood and his merry men. Oh yay, fun. On the other hand, he flung the Enterprise into the path of a first Borg cube. Oh yay, space zombie apocalypse, why don't ya? Because the two characters are tied so closely together in the minds of the audience, it feels like it should be a question of when, not if, we see Q show up in Picard. If it helps, John Delancey himself hinted at the idea that he would be back on Star Trek television when recording a Christmas cameo message, telling a fan that, "You're going to be seeing more of me," before signing off. Does that mean Season 2's appearance on Lower Decks? Could be, but he could also be referring to a guest spot on Picard Season 2. It might, it just might. So that's going to do it for our list today. Did we mention every character you'd like to see return in Star Trek Picard Season 2? If we didn't, be sure to let us know down below in the video comment section. Of course, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from myself and the team here at Trek Central. You can of course follow us on social media, as well as visit our website, or even join our community Discord server to dive into that epic Star Trek discussion. For now, I've been Captain Jack here on Trek Central. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.